So let me introduce our morning keynote speaker at this point. Excellency Nasir Andishah, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, has a long history of service in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has a stellar educational background preparing him for his work. He's a former ambassador to the Commonwealth of Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji. He was Director General of the 5th Political Division in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That's the US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. He's had a lot of economic posts in the ministry, which makes him a valuable contributor to our meeting today. He is a former Fulbright scholar here in the United States. He has an advanced security studies diploma from the Marshall Center in Germany. He has studied at the Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University. He has his PhD. He's Dr. Andishah from the Asia Pacific College of Diplomacy. Without further ado, please, Deputy Minister, Excellency, come to the podium. Thank you. By the way, we are doubly delighted that you're here because we had such visa problems
we had visa in the past.
Well, with our other deputy ministers.
All right. Thank you, Don. Excellencies, the leadership of Afghan-American Chamber of Commerce, my colleagues from the government of Afghanistan, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and assalamu alaikum. It's an honor for me to be here with you at this very important gathering, and let me thank the Afghan-American Chamber of Commerce for inviting me here. I was telling my colleague, Mr. Haqjo, that I'll have rather an untraditional probably speech in here because my colleague provided me with the beautifully prepared, politically correct and diplomatically tuned speech to deliver this morning. But I thought that, after these many years, now 12 years of we knowing each other, I mean that the Afghan government officials and the private sector, especially this gathering and this chamber, I think it's good that I should go directly into the main points, straight to the main points, and forget about repeating those very nice words. But it doesn't mean that I will not be nice. So I'll try my best to be as diplomatic as possible. But I think it's time that we have to be really, really frank because things are changing. So I will directly go and start with the problems. I think there are many problems in the business sector in Afghanistan, and I wanted to underline only 3 major ones. I think the key factors undermining an effective and sustainable private sector in Afghanistan in general could be categorized in 3 broad categories. Number 1 is a lack of political will support, including flawed public service and goods. Number 2 is, of course, the biggest challenge, the adverse security situation. And number 3, believe me, inefficiency and complacency of our private sector. So at the institutional level, so what we are going to do, so that has 3 components. I think the 2 which definitely belong to this group, a mix of the public and private officials, to work on is number 1 and number 3. Number 2, our own security agencies, I think our colleagues from the United States military, the ISAF, the NATO, and the Resolute support, everybody else is trying to bring the security, but let's focus on the number 1 and number 3. On number 1, which is our responsibility, at the institutional level, the National Unity Government has taken a number of measures, which my colleague, Mr. Atiq Nasrat, has alluded to, and I'm sure the other speakers will go in details. But I wanted to give you the highlights of this. And it's the National Procurement Commission and the High Economic Council. or the major high-level entities to streamline and facilitate medium and large infrastructure investment projects and contracts. The Council, the High Economic Council, has recently approved long-standing demand for businessmen for an easy and extended business visas. I mean Afghanistan visa, not the American. Our Afghanistan National Peace and Development Framework, the main document which was presented to the Brussels conference, contains a considerable package of private sector friendly actions and reforms. It's available online, and I will encourage you to just go ahead and read it. Public-private partnership law has came into force, paving the way for major investment in infrastructure projects. The energy sector, especially renewable energy, has been the main sector attracting major private sector investments in recent years. It's unfortunate that we don't have a good colleague, Mr. Ghalib, who is a Deputy Minister of Energy. He could have told you much about the opportunities in this energy sector, but I'm sure there will be colleagues both from the Afghan government side and also from the businesses to tell you that what are the opportunities, especially in the energy sector. So doing this, the private sector is responding cautiously and carefully to our new initiatives. And after a long drought, we are finally seeing some large-scale investments in experts, agro-processing, services, and energy sectors. Such investments and the current situation is a clear indication that the National Unity Government has taken right measures in encouraging private investment. On the regional cooperation front, my colleague, Mr. Waisi, the DG of Economic Affairs of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, will give you more details. But as a whole, we have launched an all-out effort to build bridges with our neighbors, not only to bring peace, but also to connect our neighborhood into a peaceful community bond together by trade and transit. Promoting Afghanistan's position as a land bridge and the roundabout of South Asia and Central Asia has been the main pillar of Afghanistan's foreign policy. And all our efforts revolve around the principle, changing Afghanistan's position from a liability to an asset and sharing this asset with everyone in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, last July, we joined WTO. TAPI, CASA 1000, and other large cross-border projects are continue to advance. In fact, 3 weeks back, we inaugurated a new rail link from Turkmenistan into Aqina border in Faryab province as part of the large Aero-Asia airlines. The work is ongoing on the rail link between Herat and Iran, and that could make the vision of a multi-country port project in Chabahar a reality. With the help of India and other friendly countries, we will unlock the great trading potentials of South and Central Asia. Friends and colleagues, all said, let me be frank, not only as a government official, but also as a concerned citizen of Afghanistan, and remind our business community that it's not business as usual anymore in Afghanistan. The era of easy money and large contracts are over. That doesn't mean that it's the end of doing business and making investment or money in Afghanistan. But it certainly implies that our businessmen and women have to embark on more innovative, long-term, and socially responsible undertakings. Government of Afghanistan, our donors, are willing to partner with the private sector in large and medium-sized investments in energy, agriculture, mining, water, and irrigation projects, which will generate modest but steady revenues to the public and private sectors. So let's get ready for a new phase of true public-private partnership in Afghanistan. The Afghan-American Chamber of Commerce, with its long-standing experience and expertise and valuable network, could be a leader in fostering such partnership and encourage investments in the above-mentioned areas. One thing which seems to be very clear about the new administration here in the United States is that it's led by the business people. And if you have time to see or read the readout of conversation between the President-elect and President Ashraf Ghani, our President, there is great interest in doing business in mining and minerals. So it's an opportunity to be exploited. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, I want to conclude my remarks by wishing everyone a productive meeting over the course of this gathering and looking forward to see you in Kabul. Any issues, obstacles related to visa, Afghanistan visa, in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, please don't hesitate to contact us directly. I'm available on most of the social media platforms, but just mind the time difference. Thank you very much.